Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the Elysian Effect Audio Pilgrim Noir, and these are my Honest Audiophile impressions. I want to thank Effect Audio for providing the Elysian Effect Audio Pilgrim Noir for a review. Do greatly appreciate it. Effect Audio, you rock. Alright, so the Effect Audio Elysian Pilgrim Noir. This will set you back $800 from your bank account. And it has a quad driver hybrid configuration. It includes a 9.2mm LSR dynamic driver for the lows, two Sonian balanced armatures for the low mids and mid highs, and one Knowles tubeless balanced armature for the highs. It has a 4-way crossover, 8 ohms of impedance, 103 decibels of sensitivity, and a frequency response range of 10 Hz to 20 kHz. The Effect Audio Elysian Pilgrim Noir is a collaboration between, you guessed it, Elysian Audio and Effect Audio. I have not heard the original Pilgrim, so I will not be able to make a comparison to the original Elysian Audio Pilgrim. Alright, so what are the differences between the original Pilgrim and the Pilgrim Noir? So, from what I understand, the Pilgrim Noir includes a different cable, and it also has upgraded internal wiring, and then it also has an additional crossover and a different high frequency driver and one more additional mid-range driver. The Pilgrim Noir does retain the original 9.2mm LSR dynamic driver. So, the Pilgrim Noir. It's interesting looking. It's black. You got a little bit of branding. On one side you have the Elysian Audio, and then on the other you have the Effect Audio logos. And then you have a black shell. That's kind of a tear shape. And it's a little bit on the chunky side. A little bit on the small side when it comes here to the back. There is a very, very small wing and a very, very subtle angle on the nozzle, which is extremely short. They are a little bit on the hefty side. They are made all made of aluminum, and so they are, a little bit chunky and small. They fit okay. I find that the shorter, smaller size of the shell with the heftiness and then the short nozzle are kind of odd in my ears. So I can wear them for about an hour, hour and a half before I really start getting uncomfortable. And then I have to take a fairly long break, about 10 to 15 minutes before I can put them back in my ears. They do put some pain right here on the front and then in the back. And I find that they kind of tend to pull down and put a little bit of pressure right here on the top of the ear. Isolation of outside noises is adequate. Probably somewhere about 50% of outside noises being blocked. You can easily carry on conversations with people with them in as long as the music is paused. Louder things around the house like vacuum cleaners are pretty audible. You can really hear them. Things that are a little bit quieter are muffled, but they don't do a very good job of blocking things out. And when you go outside, you can hear pretty much any car pass you by, and again, carrying on conversations. So they're not very good at noise isolation. The cable that is provided is from Effect Audio. It's the EROS S, and it connects with these very interesting connectors, which I don't have much experience with, and they are the P-Ear Pentacon ear connector. And they're kind of similar to a MMCX, but they seem to be a little bit more durable and a little bit better. But you can spin them all the way around just like you can with an MMCX. The Ear hooks are nice. They are just a little bit on the thick side, but not bad. And then you got this nice big chunk of a split with a cinch that kind of works. And then this one terminates into a 4.4. You can get it with different options with the Effect Audio website. Overall, it's a very nice cable, and I didn't have any other cables with that P-ear connector, so I wasn't able to test any other cables. The unboxing experience of the Pilgrim Noir. I have no idea what it's like, because when Effect Audio sent me the Pilgrim Noir, they sent me a demo unit that arrived in this bag that all it had was a label that said what the product was. So I only received the shell and the cable. I did not receive any tips. From what I understand, the tips that it will ship with are the SpinFit W1s. I didn't have any W1s on hand, and so I purchased some. I did receive them and listen to them briefly, and I actually didn't mind them. I found them to be pleasurable, but I didn't find them to be super comfortable. And so I used the Divinus Velvet tip. It is more comfortable for my ear, and I didn't notice a difference between the W1 and the Velvet other than comfort. The Pilgrim Noir, fairly easy to drive, being 8 ohms and 103 decibels of sensitivity. I find that the Noir was pretty happy on any of the sources I put it on. Dongle-wise, DAPs, and desktop didn't have any problems. It wasn't super sensitive, so I didn't have any hissing on higher output impedance devices, and it pretty much played on anything power-wise. Wasn't very demanding. But I did notice that if you put it on a warmer source, especially something that had a little bit more thicker, more robust type of sound, that the Noir kind of got a little sluggish and seemed to be a little bit more on the boring side, and was a little bit struggling to be engaging. It just kind of sounded like it was kind of stuck. And so I would recommend that you use the Pilgrim Noir on something that is a little bit more neutral, a little bit more airy type of sound signature, maybe even a little analytical leaning, as that will help to kind of cut through that thickness. So the Pilgrim Noir, how does it sound? The bass of the Pilgrim Noir is very, very fun and very, very engaging. It has a very nice extension into the sub bass, and you get some rumble and grumble. There's some there. It's when called upon, the Pilgrim Noir will give you the sub bass. It's got that rumble and grumble that is very enjoyable. The mid bass has nice impact and slam, good punch, and it has very much an engagement, and you can just feel it when it hits hard, and it has authority behind it, and it has nice texture, and overall it's just a very engaging bass. And then the upper bass region also has a nice impact, good punch and slam, and nice texture, and there's just a robustness to the sound. And it's very heavy hitting bass, but well controlled, and it has good authority, and yet at the same time it doesn't dominate the sound signature. It just has this bass presence. You know it's there, and you know that it's in control, and yet at the same time it's just fun, and it just it drives it home and engages you when called upon. The details of the bass are very nice, and it's very well resolved, and it does a good job of portraying all that's going on in the bass region without being overpowering and dominant. The tonality is good also in the bass, and things sound natural and accurate, really reproduced, and has good tone and timbre. The mids of the Pilgrim Noir also have that robustness, and they have this organic tone, and it has this very natural just engagement with vocalists and instruments, and everything just sounds accurately reproduced. There's very nice tone and timbre, and it has good note weight, and the balance between the lower mids and the upper mids is very nice. Things don't have peaks anywhere. There's not more elevation in one area. It's a very balanced and cohesive sounding mid that just engages you, and it fills in, and you just feel like you're surrounded by the music, by the vocalists and by the instruments, and it just puts you in this moment of just, you just feel like you're organic. You're just like, oh, this is the way it should sound. It's just very pleasurable and engaging sounding. Has nice note weight and has that authority like the bass has. The mids just carry you, and they just give out the energy that embodies you, so to speak. You just get this warm and cozy feeling that you're getting a concert for yourself. There's not too much elevation in the upper mids region, and so it stays very well controlled. There's enough sparkle and energy and enough of a presence there in the mids without being boring, but at the same time it's not being forthright and being aggressive and too forward. And then the treble extends nicely out into the upper treble regions, but it presents it in a more soft, laid back, mellow way, so things aren't super sparkly, energetic, and vivid sounding. They're more a little bit warmer. It's like a warm summer breeze that kind of gives you all the same feelings of comfort and this airiness, but at the same time is a little bit more cozy and warm. And there's good tonality and nice tone and timbre, and yet at the same time you get details and resolution, and you have just enough sparkle and energy, just enough, but you have that little bit of that warmer kiss, so to speak. And so things just kind of come across in a more soft, a little bit more mellow, a laid back type of way without being fatiguing, but yet still giving you enough information. I do wish, though, that there was a little bit more sparkle and energy and a little bit less warmth in the mids, and so they had a little bit more bite and edge. So the bass, the mids, and the treble play very well. They're very cohesive, very musical, a very organic type of sound signature that's warm, thick, and robust sounding. You have a big meaty type of sound signature that really has a lot of body and a lot of control and authority. And then the soundstage of the Pilgrim Noir is leaning intimate. It's not the most intimate sounding IEM that I've heard, but at the same time, it's not a very wide sound either. Things are pretty close to you. You feel very comfy and very close, and it has nice depth, very good layering, and the imaging inside the small space is very good. It's very precise. You can go, it's right there, it's right there, it's right there, and you can follow it as it tracks across the stage. But it doesn't really go into that grand, big size. You can tell differences between venues, whether they're small, medium, or large, but you don't get that big, grand, open sound. But you have this nice depth. You can look into the stage and you can read into the stage several rows. Things layer very well. There's no fighting for space, even though it's a little bit of smaller of a space. And then placement is very accurate. That's right there. That's right there. Oh, they swapped spaces. Oh, they went around. They tracked. That's coming in from the right and going all the way to the left. That's going back. And things like that. You can track all of it. It's just a little bit on the smaller, cozier side. Detail retrieval is very good. I had no complaints whatsoever between the mids, the bass, and the treble. With detail retrieval, everything was there. And it resolved it very nicely. I was impressed at how well controlled and how focused and defined every detail was. And then tone and timbre is also very good. It has natural, you get that body, and everything just sounds accurately reproduced, and it sounds as it should when you're comparing to its lifelike instruments and vocalists. So overall, the Pilgrim Noir from Effect Audio and Elysian Audio. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And it has a unique type of presentation that you don't normally get. And I don't have a whole lot of IEMs in this price point with a similar type of configurations when it comes to drivers. But I did have one IEM that kind of kept coming back to my mind going, this kind of sounds like this. Has similar presentation, a little bit different, but it sounds very similar. And that IEM is the IO Volare. Now the Volare has a little bit more of a airy presentation, doesn't quite have the robustness and the fullness of sound throughout. Also has a little bit more sparkle and energy, a little bit more bite, and a little bit more crispness up top. Also the Volare has a little bit wider of a sound stage and has a little bit more airiness throughout. But the Noir is more full, has more impact and slam and punch, and just overall more fun factor in the bass. It's more engaging, more full, more authoritative. And then the mids are a little bit more organic and a little bit more natural presentation with the mids. The Volare is a little bit more forward and also a little bit thinner in there and don't sound quite as natural as the Noir. And then the treble extends nicely with the Noir, but doesn't quite have that sparkle and edge and crispness like the Volare has. The Volare is a little bit more natural sounding in the treble. Detail, retrieval, and resolution very similar. And then tone and timbre, the Noir gets the edge because of its natural fullness and robustness and organic tone and timbre. So the Pilgrim Noir. Yeah, I like this and I recommend it. And it's just something different. It doesn't have the most expansive, most analytical type of sound, but it's a very pleasurable, non-fatiguing type of listen in which you just want to sit back and enjoy your music and just have fun. And if you're just looking for a fun, bassy, warm, non-fatiguing, engaging, but yet intimate type of listen with natural tone and timbre, I would check out the Pilgrim Noir. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on the screen, subscription links and notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to check out all the links down below. There's all kinds of information down there regarding how you can contact the channel, follow the channel, support the channel. Also, don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video. And don't forget to support the channel if you're not already. This channel appreciates all the support that I get from my patrons and YouTube members. Much appreciated. Couldn't go on without you. I love everything that you provide to the channel. It's much appreciated. If you're interested in supporting the channel, there's various ways that you can do that. One-time gifts through PayPal, Venmo, YouTube, and then monthly subscriptions where you can get access to my private Discord server and access to videos early and all kinds of other things. So if you're interested, check out the links to support the channel and be much appreciated. Also down below, there's all kinds of other information regarding how you contact channel, follow channel, support channel, all that kind of stuff, along with gear recommendations, music recommendations, and gear rankings and all kinds of stuff. So check out the links down below. And lastly, don't forget to enjoy the music and that honesty is the best policy.